What up, guys? Welcome back to the Need It podcast. If you guys are new to my YouTube channel, to these podcast episodes, my name is Ulysses, and I just recently started this podcast, and I'm excited, man. I say that every single time, but I'm happy to finally be able to do something that I've been, I guess, so scared to do for so long, and it ties in perfect with this episode because we're going to talk about overcoming our fears. And like I told you guys in the beginning when I started this, a lot of people were asking, those around me, well, what are you going to talk about? Who are you going to bring? And honestly, for the most part, it was just bringing people that are in my life, in my circle. You guys, if you don't know me, I've never really been one to post too much about my personal life, my journey as an entrepreneur. So we're here to do it with the people that are close to me. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys like and comment on this video. And if you guys are listening to just the audio, it's definitely going to be a good one. So I'm excited to actually bring on today's special guest. He's a family member of mine. A lot of people have met him through, just watching me and my wife on YouTube for a long time. And without further ado, let me introduce him. What's up, man?
Hey, man. How's it going? Nice setup.
So
dude.
Here's Miguel. What do you think, man? What do you think? We're here doing it now, finally. I've been talking about this.
I like the setup. It's sick. And, it's something you've been wanting to do for a long time.
Yeah,
and
it's been a while.
You always, you have the, I don't know how to explain it. You're good in camera. So, and, just
man, you know what? I suck at the camera. I've always been very shy. But like I told you, this is, I want to talk about overcoming our fears. And we'll get into how I started to be a little more comfortable behind it, but it's good to have you. He just got into town. It's actually my wife's birthday tomorrow. So, Miguel is always at all of our things that we do, and he's always, helping us out. So it's good to have you here. And, I think it's going to be an exciting podcast. Are you scared?
I'm always scared, man.
Yeah. Well, this is why we actually brought in some alcohol today to loosen us up a little bit. What are you sipping on?
Some White Claws. It's kind of needed. For this moment.
Need it. Actually, you know what? It's funny because I told myself I was gonna put a couple of sounds. I didn't even know what to do, but I forgot to do the first one. Welcome to the Need It podcast with Ulysses Benitez.
Hey, man, it's
nice.
Okay. You'll get used to it.
Yeah, we'll get used to it as we go. But yeah, I'm drinking the Estrella Jalisco Michelada. It's actually pretty good. I guess it's like a collaboration with like some brewing company, but this is my favorite one so far. Usually I don't even drink tall cans like this, but whatever's gonna loosen us up today. So tell us how you've been, man. I mean, there's been a lot of new things with you, and I feel like it's good because nobody really has. You've never really had a conversation like this. You've never been behind the camera like that. I mean, people see you in my wife's videos and stuff.
I feel like,
and then whenever we do something, but they're always curious, and I think that's why it's so cool to have you on here.
I feel like for the most part, whenever we were recording, we couldn't really be open about anything in regards to myself when it came to my sexuality. I mean, we would joke around behind camera, but we could never just be open about it.
Yeah,
it was as a group.
Well, let's get into that because I feel like that's maybe what so many people want to know. Obviously, it was something that's recent. Like you recently came out. And it was, I guess a fear of yours to actually publicly say that and to be open with it. So how do you feel about prior to doing it, when you did it, and after?
So I guess for the most part, when I used to live in LA, right?
Yeah.
And then I moved back to Stockton.
So how old were you when you lived in LA?
From 14 to 19.
Okay, so before that?
That was Mexico.
Okay, so Mexico, you got to LA when you were 14 up to 18.
Yeah.
Then you moved to Stockton.
19, 20. So essentially when I was here in LA, it's when I started, trying to find myself.
Right.
I used to hang out with Hispanic people, and for the most part, I kind of like closeted myself because, when you're around people, they make comments, and when you feel the environment, you just kind of like close yourself, and
especially in a Hispanic family, I feel like everybody's just judges you, and
they're so used to what a gay person is, though.
Yeah.
Like they think the gay person is someone who dresses up like a girl,
especially the older generation too. There's obviously a difference in that, but how did you transition into how was that, man, being able to hide something that maybe you wanted?
It wasn't easy though, because I want to say that for the most part, you feel like you're living a lie though. You feel like
you're lying to yourself and
Yeah,
anything and to
yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. But I want to say that for the most part, kind of my parents kind of knew, but they never really fully knew until I kind of like told them.
You had to tell them yourself.
Yeah. And that was until I was like 20, 21.
I feel like there's stages of coming out though, no?
Yeah.
Like first of all, you have to be honest with yourself,
Yeah.
and then you got to be,
Yeah.
you know, parents are probably the first thing as
Yeah.
Hispanics. I feel like typically we want our parents to know everything and we want to be honest with them. And they're such an important thing to us that it's like,
Yeah.
you know, how did that come about?
I want to say that I knew that I was gay since I was like 5 or 6.
That's crazy, huh?
You notice people around, you notice that you're not the same. And at the same time, you wish you were like the rest, because when you're different, people like they notice, they know that you're different.
Yeah.
So I guess a way for me to be different, I kind of just pretended to be funny. And I think there was like a mechanism, you know, in order for me to stop people from noticing that I was gay, I try to be funny. I was trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And that's like the whole thing. You know, that's why I'm always joking
That was
around.
kind of like your shield in a way.
I think so. I think for the most part, I didn't want to, you know, like them judge me because of my, you know, sexuality. So,
which I think now we've come into a time where it's a little bit more, I feel like it's a time where it's not frowned upon like it used to be. And it's not like it was ever a bad thing, but especially the way that the people are, like it made you probably, you know, fearful of like what they would say or what they would think. But, you know, let's say, you know, you pretty much with us, like me and my wife, obviously, like we were always family, but my wife didn't meet you until almost like when I met you, because I didn't even know you had moved to Stockton, right?
We'll talk about that in a bit. But like I said, I came out to my parents when I was 2021.
Yeah, which was like pretty a little bit after like we pretty much basically met you.
Yeah, and I can just tell you that when I came out to everybody recently and when I came out to my parents, way different feeling.
Yeah,
nothing similar. There is no similarity. When I came out to my parents, it was like, whoa, like just huge weight off my shoulders. I felt like I was free. I felt like as long as they knew, I was gonna be okay.
Yeah, and I think that probably got you towards that first step. Excuse me, about obviously overcoming your fear about what they would think. So you did it with them, and then I think you were fine for a while. But publicly to everybody, you still weren't honest with.
No, I wasn't
with anything, and obviously like maybe there was comments, you know, that were said or you know, I think this, I think that. But fast forward to, you know, obviously that moment when you finally like publicly came out. I mean, without wanting to, you kind of became something I should say, someone that obviously people admired, like, you know, being on Blanca's, like, you know, being involved in our lives, being in videos, and people, you know, obviously
I actually got a lot of messages of people saying, support. Well, kind of like similar situation. They were like, hey, you know, I hope one day I can get to that place. And it's not easy. I just want to say that I wish I did it when I was younger, way younger. Like actually, I feel for the most part, I care too much what people think.
Yeah, I think we're all guilty of that, though. You know, we automatically get ourselves into that mode of thinking about what people say and taking their opinion into consideration too much, when in reality, at the end of the day, you know, good or bad people are going to talk anyways. And you know, what's, I guess I could say, you know, with you telling me that, what's like a piece of advice that you could give somebody that maybe is trying to overcome that same fear that you had with their sexuality, or you know,
it can be anything though. I think it's you're your biggest, you know, like
critic.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, it's up to you to decide, hey, I feel like this is the right time. For me, I felt like if you guys didn't push me a little bit, maybe I would have always fucking stayed closeted.
You're like, when's the right time to do this?
Yeah. So I think
we're happy for you. We're happy that you finally, you know, that we did it together too at the same time.
Yeah, and I just don't think that there will ever be the right time. So I think it's best that you just move on with your life, you know, not hiding anything. I mean, from the people that you love, like I said, the rest don't really matter.
Yeah, of course.
That's what I noticed, though, based on the recent, you know, like I noticed a lot of family members liked it, but they never reached out, and they're supposed to be like my close family members, you know?
Yeah.
So at that point, it really showed me who's really there and who's not there. And throughout this whole time, I cared too much about their opinion, but it didn't really matter. So
Yeah.
I wasted, my all adult life caring about those people that really don't matter in your life.
Yeah, unfortunately, even it's hard to say that, about family, but not all family is always good, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just, even when I moved, I think at the moment when I started to realize like who really the important people were in my life, like who I give my attention to, my time and my energy to, which was obviously my wife, my kids, my parents, my brothers, my initial, family, you and others around my circle that like truly like support me and help me out. I think that's when life became a little bit easier for me. I stopped worrying about everybody and, oh, what's this person going to think? Or I didn't get invited here. Like it's extra stress for no reason. So, I mean, I could imagine, what you're talking about, but, it's good that you're in a good place now with that. I mean, how do you feel overall, like currently about
nowadays? I
DM,
no longer care.
Are
what
the DMs popping
think.
right now?
It's crazy though. I was like, I wish I would have come out sooner. Then I would have had
all this action in the DM sooner, huh?
I would have been married by now.
Probably.
Yeah.
Hey, but Miguel is single and looking. Cheers to the
single life
and single life and
living free, man.
Living free. Yeah, that's good.
I think it's good. I think people should care less about what people think and just enjoy their life.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed.
It sounds very easy because it's very cliche. Like you hear live your life and be happy. But I
feel like I wasted 10 years of my life just hiding it when I could have just been me and not care what anybody else thinks. Though, like they don't pay your bills. They don't even call you to tell you, hey, hello, how are you?
Nobody's gonna check up on you. Trust me. But I don't think you should think about it like I should have done it sooner, because I feel like these are just life experiences that teach you. I mean, you're still young, I feel like it happened at the right time. I think once let's say 5 years from now, you're going to look back and say everything worked out the way it was supposed to,
You know that I came out to my parents. I didn't really come out to my younger friends in high school because it was more like I was leaving. I'm telling you, I felt like I was out. Then I got closeted once I moved to Stockton. Because of all the family that live around me versus living here in LA. I had a family, but I was not close to them. I didn't really care. There was no social media as much, back then. It was it was like MySpace, and it wasn't really a lot.
Yeah, it almost feels like in social media, it's like another person you have to come out to in a way. I guess, or just be honest with, or just publicly like. Obviously, I'm saying coming out because of what we were talking about, but I'm saying in general, you feel like you have to tell everybody what's going on in your life with social media. So like. What do you think about that? Because obviously on Instagram, I mean, there was a time where you were super private. Like you were literally on private, I think. Like you wouldn't even let nobody add you.
No, I think I used to have like, since we started like hanging out, people will always try to like
request you.
And I was private until like 2019, I think.
Yeah, and then your shit grew. The Instagram grew out of nowhere, right? So
because I stopped caring about, just keeping my life private.
But then also, as much as there's bad things with social media and what people say, there's also good things. A lot of people.
I don't really have any negative things to say about people who reached out. I think for the most part, it's always positive, and it's good.
Those are good. Those are good. Blessings that come our way, and the people that support and that show love. And the crazy thing is, a lot of times they don't even know us, but like they relate.
Yeah,
and I think that's the cool thing about being able to do the podcast now. I feel like people are going to start to like get to know me on a better level. They're going to get to know the people around me, which, even this conversation here, we've had this conversation different times, but now it's like publicly out because we're doing this episode. So it's funny. I think there was a time where people think I didn't like you, right?
Really?
They would comment like, oh, I think Ulysses hates Miguel.
But there was a time when I would like,
yeah, we would talk shit to each other.
But
this is the thing. That's how the relationship is between us.
Yeah.
It's just like that, joking and talking shit, and
but it's always good though.
Yeah, it's always been good.
I don't think we ever fought really until recently when I didn't let you speak and you actually noticed that you got mad, and I was like, man, this guy actually got mad for the first time.
I don't know if
ever.
You guys have noticed that Miguel doesn't let me talk. It's funny because me and Miguel are similar in a way. Even though he's a little louder, we're both Aquarius, right?
Yeah.
But Miguel is just like, let's say you start to talk, he'll like put his volume up to 10. And
dude, I have a problem. See? What is it called? I don't know what it's called when you just interrupt people. I don't know.
I don't even know what to say. I think I know it in Spanish.
What is it called?
Impertinente? No.
I don't know. Something like that.
Maybe that's not it.
I don't know, but I always
when you interrupt. See, right now we're clashing. we can't even give ourselves the time.
Like at work, I get in trouble all the time because I'm always speaking over my own bosses, dude.
They're like, shut up. No, but with me, I think it's more of I've always been a quiet person, so I want my voice to be heard sometimes. So I feel like if I don't get it out when I need to, I'm not gonna be able to say it later. So that's why I'm like, that's why I am that way. But Blanca has called me out on it before. Other people have called me. They're like, man, you always interrupt people, and I'm thinking in my head like, shit. Well, I guess I do, but that's the thing. Once you
not
get
as
married,
bad as me though,
or when you have people around you, once you're married or whatever, like they start pointing out these things that maybe you didn't even know about yourself.
I know for sure that I interrupt people all the time, and I try to work on it, and then sometimes I just like keep it down. But going back to what we were talking about, you never really get mad. So recently you got mad, and I was like, hey, dude, I'm sorry. Yeah, I actually apologize.
No, but I appreciate that because. Sometimes people don't. I think they know that you're mad, but they don't care to really try to fix anything. They're just like, whatever, get over it.
No, but when I'm wrong, I like to admit that I'm wrong, and I apologize. And I apologize to you.
And I think the problem with me sometimes is like, I'm not really the type to show that I'm mad all the time. But once I get mad, I do get mad. Yeah, and it's something that it's so easy to fix. The problems really shouldn't even be problems. I feel like if you're able to talk about whatever it is that happened in that instant, things could be solved within, minutes, and then you'll be good. It's almost like a peace of mind that you get. But of course, like let's say that time, when we had a little altercation or whatever, and then you left back home to Stockton, I probably would have just been like, whatever, I would have got over it because I don't hold grudges. But the fact that you said it right there, it was just like, good,
move on, about like nothing about it.
It's not even a big deal.
And, now, going back to coming out, remember when I came out to you and Blanca? Hey, that was crazy, though. That was funny, right?
Let me explain it because I think I'm going to tell the story a little better.
Do it.
That shit's funny. So we had just got married. I think it was probably like a year into our marriage. And
2017?
Maybe
16?
Around there. No, like 17, 18. So we moved to our rental home. So we were in an apartment for a while, right? And we moved into our rental home, and I remember we were there, whatever. That was like our party house, remember?
Yeah, it was crazy.
So I don't know what. I remember Miguel was being all dramatic about it, like, what are you guys doing tomorrow? I need to come over. We have to talk. And I'm like, what the hell?
Well, start fresh, though, because the reason why, it was because you guys were moving into your rental home, and we had plans to move in together because you were like, it's a big-ass house. We have extra rooms.
True. We did try to move you in at one point.
And you guys were like, you're already fucking 25. Just move out of your parents' house. Come with us, And I was up for it. But I felt like there was things that you guys didn't know about me. So that's when I talked to you guys. I need to talk to you guys about it.
You were like, I think if we're going to move forward,
it's best that I'm honest with you guys.
And it's funny because he didn't even know how to say it. He was like, so this is what I think I like this, but I'm still not sure. Like I don't know if you were really unsure or you didn't want to say it straight up.
No, I think it was just kind of, for me, I felt like, we've known each other for a couple of years, but we never got to the point where I could just freely say. I was closeted when I met you guys as well. Like I never told you guys. You guys could sense it. You guys could sense it. And for the most part, other people that came around like will make comments. Not gonna make names, but they would make me feel uncomfortable to the point that I didn't feel like I could just be myself around them. But now going back to sitting down in the living room, I clearly remember you guys were right there. I was just like,
I don't know. I think I wanted to sell. So eventually you told us, and it was a lot easier than you thought. We just said, hey, you know what? It's cool. I was like, obviously we support anything you do. And it was easy,
Yeah. It took me a minute, though. I was just like in the table and like in the couch for like 20 minutes. So, So I want to tell you guys something, we're going to be living together. So I just don't want you guys to, I don't want to just move in and not be fully honest with you guys. So after 30 minutes, I was like, so I'm gay. And then after
cool.
that,
it was easier than you thought, though.
And then after that, I felt like we connected more because I wasn't being, I wasn't hiding anything. I feel like, and for the most part, you guys, I was always with you guys when you guys were back in Stockton.
But it's weird, because obviously, I mean, I feel like in a way we knew, but we never felt like it was gonna be something that was gonna completely change you. You know,
Yeah.
like that you were gonna be all of a sudden, start doing something or acting a certain way. Like you've literally been the same.
I feel like I'm always the same, but just that portion you guys didn't know about me.
Yeah. So it was just obviously you telling the truth, but I guess it's just all of this is going back to like overcoming a fear of like saying something or doing something, and I think
coming out to you guys though was like coming out to my parents.
Really?
Yeah, like I was sweating like when I told my parents. I only came out to like people. It was my parents and you guys,
and in person. Yeah,
and then obviously that one time when
it is hard to talk about things in person. That's one thing that I've always felt is hard for me. Like it's so hard for me to, let's say we're talking here and we're talking eye to eye about something serious. Like it's hard for me to. It's in a way it's confrontation. I'm good with talking, but it's hard for me to speak sometimes in front of people and things like that. And even though people think I'm good at it or whatever, that should take a long time to overcome, because I've been always, like I said, the quiet kid in the room. I never really liked to be, the loudest person in the room, the front face of anything. It was just something that in a way I had to learn because of the businesses and the things that I wanted to do with myself.
I think you're right though. I think you're right. I was a shy kid, and because I didn't want to be, talked about, like people will point it out when I was a kid. Little kids are fucked up. Yeah. Little kids, you're like, you're fat. You're fat. You're gay. Like they will call me mean shit. Words and names, yeah. And then they would always single me out. So like I said, I think I was a shy kid, but I came out from being a shy kid to be the
being
funny
yourself
kid.
Though. Because you're not faking it. This is just how you are and who you are. And I think that's the beauty of it, that you're able to, in a way, be like, wow, like this is how I am and I'm happy, and instead of being, quiet and shy, because not because you are that type of person, but you feel like you need to be.
Yeah. Just like you though. I think since I met you, because we didn't know each other until
surprisingly we didn't know each other until we were older.
Yeah. So actually I saw you like at the mall, because that was just when I had recently moved to Stockton. We actually never met before. Or maybe when you were in Mexico, I saw you when, I used to go to your grandpa's house and stuff like that, but never really formally met Ulysses.
Yeah, but we hit it off right away when we met. I think it was like at an asparagus festival in Stockton. So it's just like your typical, like kind of like a fair. And we happened to go with another cousin of ours. And then you were there, and then it was cool. Like my wife right away was like, "Oh, Miguel's so cool." I was like, "He's all right."
We started hanging out right away. Like
we started drinking every weekend.
Yeah,
and then we were getting drunk all the time. But it's been obviously a journey. Literally, that whole time of like you coming out up to now, it's been a process of like a couple of years.
I think we all grew. I mean, you guys, from single to parents. Me from being a closeted to not closeted. I think
What about now? Obviously you said that you came from Mexico, went to LA, went to Stockton, and now you're in LA like every weekend to visit us. But like, how do you feel the difference of LA and Stockton? And like, would you ever move back to LA?
I feel like just being in LA, I just feel free though.
Like you feel like it's free. You?
Yeah, it's just me.
This feels more like home to you?
Yes. It's always been, I feel like home. Like in Stockton, there is no really growth,
Well, I
mean, for work, though. Like
there is, but you have to really dig deep to get it.
Yeah.
Sorry, this beer is making me burp too much, but there is growth. Obviously, you could do great things, but I think the environment, the people, sometimes it can have a negative effect on things, and a lot of people kind of throw things at you when you want to do things over there. Oh, well, you can't do that here. You can't charge this here. Well, you can't do that. Nobody's going to support it. It's going to go bad. It's not going to last.
Yeah.
But man, I think the beautiful part about it is when you actually do it and you're like, damn, I proved everybody wrong. And, but I think you do reach a time where it's like, okay, what's after this?
Yeah.
If you have that type of grind.
I feel like since you guys left, I've been thinking about what am I going to do, I feel like you guys are my family, like just like my parents, So that's why I come often, just because I miss you guys. And it's like, we've been in each other's life for close to 7 years though. We've done an anniversary coming up.
Oh, what are we gonna do?
I don't know. Dinner? The three of us.
We'll tell Blanca to do some candles and roses like the one she did for me.
7 years, bitch. Just kidding.
Hey, but it's crazy because even with Blanca, it's been over 10. Like of actually us knowing each other, being with each other. So it's not just so much of the marriage. It's like before the marriage, there was more years involved.
I don't have favorite cousins, but you're my favorite. Just kidding.
I appreciate it, man.
Thanks,
hey, but
man.
it's cool because, you know, obviously I feel like with Blanca, you feel that those family ties with her. She's a girl. And then with me, you have a cousin that you feel the same with. And it's good to have both, you know? That we talk about different things, you know?
Yeah, it's all different.
Like literally if you hang out with Blanca, let's say it's just the girls, you guys have your own shit going on. And then you hang out with the guys, it's still fun.
It's cool, though.
Yeah, and it's a different vibe. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. You live a pretty good life.
Dude, I can just tell you when, like, you know, we go to places, I feel like we have explored a lot and I miss it, dude. I remember
traveling it's been hard to do this whole like past year and a half. I think we've had so many trips we had to postpone and we used to be doing trips all the time, but especially lately with obviously all the pandemic stuff that's been going on and still going on. Yeah. It's been hard to do things. I've literally had to postpone like a couple of trips. Yeah. Obviously, you know, I have the Europe one that I never did with Blanca, which I'm still keeping there because I want to still take her and I think we should definitely experience it. I've canceled a couple of just domestic flights.
We had Miami, we had
all
Vegas.
That stuff, you know, all the stuff in the US, and then Cabo recently I booked something, but you know, that's probably not going to happen with us and the kids. And you know, it's been hard, but traveling is always good, you know. It's always fun.
But you know, to sum up what we've been talking about, I feel like you mentioned, you know, do it on your right time whenever you feel like it's your time. And at the end of the day, just care about the opinion of the ones that are around you, you know?
Yeah, I think keep your circle small always. And I know, like I told you, I mean, it sounds like something you probably see on quotes. And I always post stuff on my Instagram. And now I'm actually talking about it here, you know? And people think I just posted just to post it, but I really live by the stuff that I post. And if I post it, it's because it has some type of, you know, meaning to my life somehow, you know? Yeah, man. And obviously it inspires some people too. And I think that's why I'm excited to continue to like bring guests on and just have them tell their story. And a lot of the times in these kind of things, people feel like you need to bring somebody with like some type of platform to be on here and talk about all the good things they've done. But in reality, we're here to relate to your everyday person and give you guys like real life situations. And obviously this is one of them, you know, overcoming a fear of Miguel with his personal, you know, life. And then obviously me just letting you guys know that just because I'm on here doing this doesn't mean that you guys can't do it. It doesn't mean that you guys can't be on here doing something like this if it's something you eventually want to do. I mean, you're gonna have to go through some trial and error, but eventually, you know, you have to do the things that you feel like, you know,
stick to them though.
Yeah, stick to it.
I feel like you're very committed though.
I think the good thing that I've noticed and I feel like the moment where I started to realize that everything was attainable, the moment that I started to realize that everything was attainable to me, like let's say I put myself, you know, I wrote down a goal and I accomplished it, maybe not right away, but like say 6-7 months from now, but I was able to do it. I was like, wow, it's literally all possible. It doesn't really matter what you go through in between, but once you get there, you're like, wow, I could do anything. So that's why I always give myself something. And I feel like those are the things that have inspired a lot of people because they say, man, everything you've done, even those close to me, you guys that we talk about it, let's say a year before this or 6 months ago when, you know, when I was talking to you about the podcast, I showed you the logo and then I showed you my setup and then I made the neon sign and then I got the stuff and then now we're here doing it. So I think that's why people find it so cool. And, you know, this has been probably one of the hardest things I've done.
I know,
it's so new to me.
You don't really like to be in front of the camera.
Not that I don't like it. It's just I hate having to struggle with like the tech stuff, you know?
Like okay, I see you doing your stories though and you do it until you get it right.
Yeah, but it's funny because Blanca's very
straightforward, you know. She's like record and she's good to go.
Yeah, she's just raw with it. Like, okay, boom, 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 just post it. But to me,
so can you say you're overcoming your fears public speaking?
Yeah, and also being a little bit more open to the fact that I don't have to really overthink what I post.
Yeah, just being you and doing what you like and enjoying yourself at the same time, I guess.
I think sometimes with posting on Instagram and social media, I've realized that the consistency is really all you need. And I feel like I'm very committed to when I want to do something and I'll get it done and I'll be consistent with it. And that's why I wanted to do the season 1 Need It podcast every season. We would have a certain amount of episodes, but I would drop every single week because I want to be consistent with it. And I want it to be a show where people start to tune in every single week because they know we're going to talk about some real stuff. and some relatable things. So that's the cool part about it. But you know, we're here. It's starting. I feel like it's gonna be something that people are gonna enjoy, whether they watch us here or they listen to us in the car.
Yeah,
you know, it's a cool conversation. But you know, what do you have to say to other people that obviously have, you know,
like limitations? I feel they cannot do it. I think you should just go for it though. Take a step by step. You know, you have a goal. You cannot get it done all at once. Just take a step.
I think as long as you move the needle a little bit every single day, you'll get to it. And it's funny because recently I was, you know, speaking about what are some of the things that can help you, I guess, progress,
grow,
and grow. And we can never overthink the simple things. For example, these past 2 weeks, a lot has happened just with the podcast, because I actually started putting effort towards it. I started writing down every single night.
It's all you though. It's all you.
Literally, it's just you. You determine whatever you want to do. So every night, before I went to sleep, I wrote down on my notes, and I would just put Tuesday, 7 a.m.
Bro, I did the same at home.
Okay.
For work though. For work.
You have to, right? You have to be prepared, because you really will forget, especially if you have a lot of stuff going on. So me, okay, I put 7 a.m., wake up, send some emails out. For example, 9 a.m., work out, take a shower, make breakfast, head out to the warehouse.
I don't plan my life, but I do write down ideas.
You have to write down ideas. I think, to me, I mean, everybody's different, but like I told you, I wrote down those things, and I feel like I've been accomplishing most of them throughout the day. It's almost like you have this goal, but you're approaching it every single day, little by little. And I think that's been helping me.
Also for me though, like work, right? I get to manage people, and I know that I'm not perfect, and I know that I make mistakes. When I'm wrong,
Miguel's a boss at work.
Not a boss. I'm one of the people who get to make decisions for the company. So
he's a boss.
Shut the fuck up. I ain't no shit. But now I am, you know, I get to make decisions that, you know, for the company. Right. So when I make the wrong decisions, I also know that if I'm wrong, you know, I say I'm sorry, you know, move forward.
You have to be accountable for what you do.
Whenever there is something that, you know, I'm wrong, I apologize. Hey, but, you know, we did this wrong, but let's move forward. You know, for me, whenever there's conflict or something like that, I try to bring ideas to make things better, you know? But I don't know, man. Like at the end of the day, it's you putting limitations in you. But if you have the attitude to make things better, I think things go your way. A
positive mindset's important for sure.
I have a negative like thinking when I'm at work, and everything just goes wrong.
Right.
Wrong. Going forward, you do something, something goes wrong again. And then you just go home and then think about all the things that went wrong. And then I'm like, I need to do better. I go in with a better attitude, and just things get better. It's all in you. You have the power to change everything.
How powerful that is, though, about just your mind transitioning into your everyday life. And you don't even realize when you're in a negative mindset until somebody around you maybe brings it up. But you know, when you get out of that funk that you're in, or whatever mentality you're currently in, if it's a negative one, once you bounce back and you start changing the way your perspective is towards anything, and things start going better, you're like, wow. Better.
It's all you, though.
Yeah, the mind's very powerful.
Like you said, overcoming your fears, you limit yourself to be yourself because you have fear, you know?
Yeah.
You don't do, like, let's say, it's also admitting that you're wrong, though, and instead of finding more problems, is like, find a solution, you know?
I think as a boss or anybody that's in charge, that's just less excuses, more solutions, and, you know.
And then for me,
problems are going to happen. Problems are going to happen no matter what.
There is always going to be a problem. It's how you find a solution for it, though. I have other coworkers that instead of finding solutions, they find a problem on the solution. Instead of, like, what are you doing to make things better? But to add more to the sauce, you know?
Add
like
more to the plate.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, I have my motto, you know, like, I find solutions, no problems.
I think once you shift your mindset into being more positive, you start to realize how a lot of other people think.
But it's not always like that, though. It's not always like you find positive and then, you know, you're negative and you find positive, and it's always going to be that way. I have put myself in that same place multiple times, but I get out of it. And when I get out of it, it's just like, man, it's always you.
Yeah.
It's always you.
It all comes back to you. And that's why.
Stop blaming people around you. It's all you, though.
And now getting closer to, you know, the end of the podcast, we'll start wrapping it up with just overall the fact that at the end, you know, you have control over how you approach things and you make the decisions. And at the end of the day, you know, a fear, it's not as big as sometimes we think. You know,
No.
it's very simple, so difficult, but very simple.
In your mind, it is though.
Yeah.
But as long as I think because you focus on the negative instead of the positive, you always, like I said,
Naturally though,
Yeah.
you know, we do that.
always think
naturally.
about what could go wrong
What
instead
if,
of
what
what is
if.
gonna go right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
Fact.
All right, so we'll pretty much wrap it up with that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's talk. Miguel's already getting drunk.
Thanks.
So Miguel's starting to get drunk, so we have to, wrap it up. I'm starting to see him.
Continue the party at home.
Yeah, we'll
Just kidding.
continue the rest of this after this podcast episode. But I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, and let me know what you guys think on the YouTube. If you guys are on the YouTube, drop the comment. I appreciate everybody showing some love. I'm actually wearing the Need It hat right now, so if you guys want to purchase that,
What is mine, man's?
I've never seen you wear a hat, Miguel, but I'll give you
Hey,
one. You can hang it up in your room or something.
I'm gonna need it.
Need it. Need it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
Need
you
it.
having me here, man. I feel special, and I wish you the best in your podcast. You're just missing the pot, Scott. Just kidding.
what?
Cut that. The pot. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's definitely time to wrap it up. But we'll see. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Like I said, drop a comment. Let me know what you guys thought about our talk today. And I will catch you guys on the next episode. Like I told you guys, season 1 is here every single Sunday at 7 p.m. We're going to have a special guest. And if you guys want anybody else specifically or any kind of topics, just drop them in the comments below. And we will catch you guys next time.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.